when Republicans turned against Trump. Imagine this scene that shook Washington yesterday. Inside the U.S. House of Representatives, Republican lawmakers, Trump's own party, gathered to make a historic decision, a decision they had delayed for 2 full weeks, a decision their president had repeatedly warned them against. The voting clock began. The numbers came in: 215 in favor, 208 against. The result was stunning. The measure passed, and it passed with Republican votes. 4 Republicans, Thomas Massie, Brian Fitzpatrick, Tom Barrett, and Warren Davidson, joined Democrats to deliver a major political blow to America's 47th president. No, Trump did not expect this. How could members of his own party turn against him? How could they challenge their commander-in-chief? This is not a story about Iran. It is a story about a leader beginning to lose control over those around him. A president who promised a quick victory, only to see his war become a political burden, threatening his party's seats in Congress. Today, we tell the story of a legislative revolt that many observers described as the biggest humiliation Trump has faced since returning to the White House. What exactly happened on the House floor? Lawmakers voted on the War Powers Resolution of 1973. The law, passed after the Vietnam War, requires any U.S. president to seek congressional approval if military forces remain engaged in hostilities for more than 60 days. President Donald Trump had already exceeded that limit. The war, which began on February 28th, has now entered its 4th month, and Congress, it remained silent for far too long. That silence ended yesterday after delaying the vote for 2 weeks. Once Republican leaders realized they might lose, there was no room left for postponement. Democrats used the War Powers process, which forces a vote within a fixed period. The decisive moment arrived. The result: 215 votes in favor, 208 against. The resolution passed. Let's look at the 4 names that became the first Republicans to openly challenge Trump over the war. In Trump's view, they are disloyal. In his supporters' eyes, they deserve punishment. Thomas Massie of Kentucky, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Tom Barrett of Michigan, and Warren Davidson of Ohio. Yet their stories are very different. Massie, for example, had already lost his seat months earlier. Trump endorsed a primary challenger against him. Massie was defeated and is now leaving Congress. But he did not forget. On the day he no longer needed to fear Trump politically, he voted to limit presidential war powers. He later wrote on X, "The People's House is sending a message: end this war." Trump allies inside the party reacted angrily, describing the vote as foolish, political, and dangerous during ongoing negotiations. The first question analysts asked was simple: why now? Why did Republican unity suddenly crack after months of silence and loyalty just last week? Party leaders successfully delayed the vote. They believed the crisis had passed, but pressure was building beneath the surface. Polls showed Trump's approval rating falling to record lows, while a majority of voters described the war as a serious mistake. Republican lawmakers began worrying about their own political futures. In Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in Georgia, the battleground states that determine congressional majorities, voters were increasingly frustrated by gasoline prices and inflation. Tom Barrett, one of the 4 Republicans, explained his vote directly. Congress alone has the authority to declare war. That is something we must protect. When asked whether he feared retaliation from Trump, Barrett replied, "I vote my conscience and what I believe is right." Washington has not heard many Republican lawmakers speak that way in years. Years of unquestioning loyalty appeared to end yesterday. The congressional vote is only one piece of a much larger picture. Trump, the president who once intimidated everyone around him, has been forced onto the defensive on multiple fronts just days ago. He backed away from the controversial anti-politicization fund, a $1.8 billion program that critics said would have allowed him to direct money toward political allies. What happened? Republicans pushed back. Senator Tom Tillis warned that some of the money could end up benefiting individuals convicted of attacking police officers on January 6th. Before that, Trump abandoned plans for a $1 billion White House ballroom project, and now comes a rebellion over war powers. 3 setbacks in 2 weeks. The resolution now heads to the Senate. The real question is what happens next. Even if it passes there, which is far from certain, Trump still has the power to veto it. But the story does not end with a veto. The message has already been delivered. Congress is no longer silent. Republicans are beginning to listen to their voters again. This may become a defining moment in the history of the American presidency A president who believed he stood above Congress, above oversight, above restraint. A president who said he was not focused on Americans' financial struggles while they continued paying the cost of war. A president who changed his position on negotiations 4 times in a single week, and then seemed surprised when even his allies began losing confidence. Thomas Massie lost his seat, but remained true to his principles. Tom Barrett faces a difficult re-election battle, but chose to follow his conscience. The question now is, how many more Republicans will follow their example in the weeks ahead? Trump may stop this resolution from becoming law, but he cannot erase the message Congress has sent. You are not alone in Washington, and we have a voice too. And the clock is still ticking for the president, for his party, and for a war whose ending no one can clearly see. Write your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to receive all our new videos. See you in the next video.